All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Theorycraft Thursday. Of course, today's episode is going to be sponsored by Pugna, that is PVGNA, and Unicorn UNI KRN. We'll hear more about both of them later on in the show, potentially, like an hour later. So look forward to it. All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Theorycraft Thursday. I am Ursinity. I'm here with my co-host Proud. Hello, Proud.
Hey, buddy. How's it?
I am just grand. I am prepared to host everybody's favorite Harry Potter podcast with you this week. Our subtitle is Theorycraft Thursday, an evening at Hogsmeade. Hogshead?
Hogshead.
Hogshead. That's what I thought it was. But then isn't Hogsmeade something else? Isn't Hogsmeade like the town and then Hogshead is the...
Oh, yeah. Hogsmeade is the... Yeah. Or is it the other way around?
I can't recall.
Because Hogsmeade would be a tavern. Because its mead is in the name.
That's true. So I looked it up, actually, and I still couldn't figure it out. It says Hogshead is the inn, and Hogsmeade sounds like a bar. And yeah, so Hogshead is in Hogsmeade. Who cares? Anyway, join us for a butterbeer, and let's pregame with some Dota talk, shall we?
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So how's your week in Dota been, Proud?
It was really good until today, where I had two really bad games and I lost them, but I feel like I could have won them if I played more amazingly than I did. I had this Juggernaut game. God, the lowest MMR picks, mid, of course, because that's just how it works. And this dude went Dragon Knight, and he had 2 points in stun at level 3. And then he bought a bottle. Like, what fucking game are you playing? Like, what are you doing here? A bottle? 2017? He leveled stun twice? Like, what?
I was going to say, I know they've changed it a little bit, but isn't DK stun the worst scaling stun in Dota?
It's not the
point for point.
It's not the worst. I mean, I'm sure there's worse ones, but it's certainly not good. It might actually be the worst. What is it? Is it 0.25? Yeah, it goes up 0.25. Yeah, that's probably the worst scaling stun in the game. 0.25 extra seconds of stun and 25 more damage and 1 second off the cooldown. Like, it's not horrendous, but why in the laning stage do you even consider that?
Yeah, that's rough.
It's not. Yeah, so that game was fucking a wash, and you got like a blade mail and shit. It's like, could you just fucking not do this? I did fucking great, though. Although at one point I died, and then we lost the game because I died once, and that was pretty rough. Yeah, and then I had another bad game today, but most of them have been like good. I'm playing a little bit more Jakiro in place of the Venge, so I'm playing Jakiro and Venge as most of my fiving now, and I played a good amount of Luna because, sometimes you just have to first pick a carry, and the only carry I could consider first picking right now is probably Luna.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes, I mean that's been. I've been playing a lot less, and that's not because I don't like Dota. As I've just been more measured in the games that I was playing, and it gave me like a 9-game win streak here. What is this? Is this 4? Oh, it's a 7-game win streak, and it's been going pretty good. Yeah, I'll round up because that's how numbers work. It was like a 7.5, so round that up to 8. And then the last 2 games I played have been kind of bad, but I stopped after that, so it was only minus 2. I'll probably play again if we win this thing, but we'll see.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
Okay.
I won't complain too much, but I've been on a disgusting losing streak, and it's been miserable, and it's really taken the wind out of my sails. Because like a couple weeks ago, I was like on a good winning streak, and then I was 50-50 for a little bit, but now I'm getting that forced 50% matchmaking, and all my losses are coming hard. So I'm in a dark place, Dota-wise. I played 3 games today. One of them was all right. They were all losses, but one of them was like an okay, it's one of those games where like you make one bad play and like a couple misplays, like few little things ended up making us a loss. So it was a fun game anyway, even though it was a loss. And then 2 just miserable games. They were all unranked though, so my problem is like I like to play an unranked warm-up game, but recently unranked for whatever reason, matchmaking wise, has just been so bad I cannot play a warm-up game. Like I literally played 3 games today, and the first 2 games were... The first game lasted 5 minutes because my teammates picked 4 supports and then abandoned at 4 minutes. Okay. And somehow they were a 4-stack. they were a 4-stack. They picked 4 supports. The Earthshaker picked to counterpick a PL and planned to play as a 4, but then ended up playing offlane because his stackmates, again, I don't know how this happens, his stackmates picked CM, Rubik, and Jakiro. So he ended up having a Jakiro mid against SF. The SF was very high MMR also and just absolutely wrecked our Jakiro, and Jakiro just abandoned.
Sounds like a Shadow Fiend favored matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Jakiro, you could probably win that matchup if you played Jakiro, but like that's not a matchup. Like it's not like you're a Jakiro mid player that's like, oh man, I'm spamming this and I know all these abusive tricks.
The Jakiro mid matchup against Shadow Fiend, but I feel like if you don't have a half decent auto attack, which Jakiro definitely does not, you have no way to compete with that, and you can't even like make sure he doesn't get denies off because all your damage is fucking dots.
No, that's fair. I think you'd lose if you let it come to a CS battle, but I feel like if you get like an early point in dual breath and then like just really abuse him hardcore early and he comes to lane with 2 tangos, he puts the first on cooldown, or he puts them on cooldown after using the first, and you just bully him super hard.
I don't think you can stop him till he's 2, and then once he's 2, like you can't stop any CS from happening. Like you can't deny him. You just can't.
Yeah.
As Jakiro.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, I wasn't playing the matchup, so obviously it went freaking horribly for this guy. But yeah, so that game was a wash. I picked Spectre because I was like, there's no possible way we can win this game if I don't like put this game on my back. But luckily they abandoned it 4 minutes. Then I played a Mirana game, and it was like, if you want to look at a good example of how to counterpick, this Mirana game is a great example of like how to effectively counterpick a team. So my team, I don't remember the exact order of our picks, but our cores were Mirana mid that I played, and an offlane Timbersaw, and then a safe lane Gyro. The Gyro was the last pick, so obviously he was not counterpicked. But so I got counterpicked, and the Timbersaw got counterpicked in that the enemy team, also thanks matchmaking, our team was 2 randoms and a 3-stack, and the enemy team was a 5-stack that were like super coordinated, but you know, whatever. And with the enemy team, they picked PL early, which is why we had some of our picks, and then they rotated the PL and they lane swapped the PL to be a PL mid, which is a counter to Mirana. And then they played OD safe lane, and the OD just free farmed and farmed off of Timbersaw. Timbersaw had the jungle, and it was just an absolutely unplayable game. Like that game, it was 44-12, and when the game ended at 31 minutes. And it was just like a perfect example of like, we revealed the Timbersaw early. I say we as though I had any impact in this guy's decision to play Timbersaw. But this Timbersaw just got counterpicked to high heaven. Like they have Skywrath and they have OD. It was just like horrific. So it was a testament to just getting counterpicked, and like our lanes were unwinnable. Like Mirana does not beat PL mid. Like PL is picked as a Mirana counter, and they also dual laned me on top of that. So it was a really rough game.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's been Dota for me. I've had a few good games here and there, but it's been a real not good week. I think I got cursed as of last week's Theorycraft Thursday. Anyway, let's talk about something else, shall we? So on Teach Me Tuesday, one of the questions revolved around last hitting, and I said there were no secret tricks to last hitting. So Proud you disagree with that, and you are now going to enlighten us on the many tricks to last hitting. Or whatever. You did not specify.
Most of it was the stuff that you were talking about under tower. You were like, I don't really know any specific numbers, but I'm just going to say a bunch that are going to be wrong, and you're going to be worse off for listening to them, because like if someone's listening to that and they're like, oh, how do I last it under tower? And then you say, here's some wrong numbers. That's going to hurt. That hurts more than it. Like you might as well. You should just not say numbers if you don't know them, because otherwise you're giving someone false information, and if they work off that, they'll be worse off.
I thought I had couched that whole thing in like, I don't remember specific numbers, but ballpark 50 damage, ballpark 75 damage,
you're last
ballpark
hitting under
whatever.
tower. The difference between 50 and 10, like that is the only difference you're capable of having. Like that's as granular as it's gonna get.
Okay, all right. Oh, so do you have these specific numbers for us, Proud, that everybody's gonna remember over the course of this 1.5 hour long podcast?
Yeah, I mean the 2 easiest ones are, I mean obviously everyone knows if you're dealing with a under tower in a ranged creep, if you do more than 8, because range creeps are easy because they have no armor. So if you do, like if you average out the way towers hit, if you do about 80 damage, that's kind of like the safest place to not need to prime the hit at all. If you do like
I said 75 for the record. So I was
Yeah,
close.
so if you do a bit less than that, like towers have a really big damage range. I think it's like 10 or so.
It's a lot.
Yeah, either way, like there's a lot of
I'll
variants
actually
that can
pull it
go
up what you saw.
into a tower hit. But so if you do like 75 is still probably safe, but it's a little bit more on the dangerous side. Like the tower is going to have to overhit a little bit, and then like sometimes I'll have 80 damage and it won't work. So it's more like I'll do one hit for sure if I'm around from around like 83 to 85 or 86 or something like that. But if I'm just straight at 80, I'll just kind of gauge how it looks after the first tower hit, and then maybe I'll go for another little slap myself. But around 80, like
sorry, just because I have the information now. Towers have a 20 damage range, 100 to 120. So that's a lot.
120 in there. Yeah, so if it's
like almost a CK.
If it throws 2 shots in like slightly below average, like 5 damage under, that's a 10 damage difference. And that's like that's the difference between 80 didn't hit this, like 80 didn't get it because you needed to do fucking 90 damage. Like that's a big deal. So kind of look at the first hit for range creeps because there's only two hits to look at. The like health bar will look a lot different, but in general around 80, a little more than 80, that's when you need 0 hits, and then you just hit it after the tower goes in twice. When you're dealing with catapults, catapults are really weird because towers do like bonus damage to them and you do half damage to them. So they're kind of impossible to really manage, but it's more like if you do about, I think it's like 55 or so, you want to do like 1 hit on the catapult, and if you do like over 50, oh no, I think it's 2 hits on the catapult if you have 55, and then 1 hit on the catapult if you have a good amount over 55. And between like 55 and 70, it's like a fucking crapshoot. Like no fucking idea what's gonna work.
Yeah.
And then the final one is for melee creeps. There's 2 ways to go about it. One, you can just kind of do the easy thing where you look at, okay, how many hits do I need to just one shot the creep. And you can do it if you have about, it's like 60 damage. 55 is more or less the breakpoint. Again, there's a big difference on the tower. But like 60 is the safest spot. And of course, the lower you have, the safer it gets to be. Like if you have 40 damage, it's going to be incredibly safe to just, hit once and then, do another. But if you have 50, like 58, you have no fucking idea whether or not it's going to need 1 hit or 2. So the way to work around that is if you have lower than 60 damage, I hit it once before all the tower hits like happen. So like I'll hit it once, and then I'll wait for all the tower hits to come in, and then if it looks like it's not gonna like die quickly, I'll hit it again. Then a tower hit will go, and then I'll hit it. But if it looks like it's going down, decently fast, then I'll just, let the next 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever tower hits are remaining go in, and then I'll hit it. So like the thing with the range creep is you want to hit it twice by the 5 attacks early on in the game. But the way you do that is you just like hit it once at the start, wait for the 5 auto attacks, and then hit it again. But if you have like, 80 damage or whatever, then just, do the one last hit. Yeah. So melee creeps, prime it once, and then hit it when you have about 60 or so. If you have more than that, you can prime it or not prime it. Once you've got 80, don't prime it. Range creeps, prime it if you've got 80, or prime it if you've got below 80. If you've got 80 and a bit above, don't prime it. And for catapults, if you have 55 damage, hit it twice. If you have less than 55 damage, hit it twice. If you have way more than 55 damage, hit it only once, and then go for it. Anywhere between 55 and 70 on the catapult, there's no way to know. And
You just gotta believe.
That's how you last hit under tower. I mean, other general advice is like, don't really pay attention to what the melee creeps are doing. Just, auto attack or last hit by the tempo of your ranged creep, because that's going to be the big little jumps in health. And beyond that, buy a Quelling Blade. Anyway, I just wanted to correct that because those were the wrong numbers, and that was.
I gave vaguely similar numbers, but you're right. I did not give the specific numbers.
The difference
I'll
between
take my lumps.
Yeah, like the difference between last hitting at 55 and last hitting at 60 is the difference between hitting your last hit, 40% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's so fun. It's like it's such a defining. It's so Dota appropriate for towers to have a 20 damage range that complicates everything. Like
it's
they are
some shit.
Like what a ridiculous thing to have in a game. Like all right, the game's already hard, and then on
also
top of that,
there's no consistency.
like it's like you can't even mental math your way through situations because there's RNG. Like
The 20 damage, like if it was 10, that would be
10,
one thing.
yeah.
But yeah, like a fucking 20, it's crazy.
and it
It's
hits you
pretty
when you
dumb.
have a. It hits you when you're in the early game. More importantly, which is when the damage ranges are more effective. It's like a
Yeah.
20 damage range would not be that big of a deal later on, but in the early game when you actually have to deal with tier 1 tower last sitting, it's like, oh god, like I have a 6 damage range and this tower's a 20 damage range. And I'm getting denied. Like, how do I micromanage all these things?
Yeah.
I guess just because I want to keep going with like the last hitting stuff. As an extension of last hitting, what have you done anything different to your farming rotations through the jungle now? Because like we've had it's been back to the 1 minute spawns and it's had the map changes.
Yeah, by the
for
way,
a while.
that was like 2 years ago, not since 7.0 or 7.07.
that they brought the thing back.
And not 2 years, but about it's been a while. It's been about a year.
Yeah, but I mean 707. I mean
Came
7.
out 3 months ago, 2 months ago, not even.
Yeah, but 7. I'll look at.
You said 707 was when they added in the stuff back. They added the 1 minute spawn, and that was 2 months ago, and that was definitely not the case.
Okay, I'll look up the change log just for the sake of it.
All right.
But
yeah, I mean, for the most
have you
part,
made any
no.
big changes?
I don't care about any jungle creeps that aren't ancients. Ancients are still worth it, even though they just got nerfed. I just don't fuck with the jungle. Like I'll do it getting between waves, but there've been a lot of times where I kill the hard camp. If I'm safe laning and I get the bounty rune or something, and I'm walking back, and the hard camp's right there. It's right fucking there. And I have a battle fury. It's right there. And then I kill it, and then I look at the lane, and 2 melee creeps have died. I'm like, that wasn't really worth it. That wasn't good. That, like, 2 melee... Like, if I kill a centaur camp, that's like, I don't know, 90 gold, maybe. And then 2 melee creeps is like, fucking 85 or something. Like, I might as well have just I just go back to lane and not chanced risking any more shit. Like, and maybe their off laners there, like free farming, and be like, fuck, the camps suck. They're not good. Just farm lane. Anytime I've not farmed lane, I felt like a fucking idiot. And it's bad. So I don't fuck with camps. If there's lane, you get lane. Don't get camps.
So I'm looking at the change log. They fixed or they made neutral creeps spawn timing back to every minute.
Yeah.
In 7.06.
Yeah.
So it's not been that long.
Yeah, I mean that's literally the longest patch ever, but yes.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's only
like
like 6 months or whatever.
Yeah, it's only well.
And they introduced
It's only half a year.
the every other minute thing in 7.00, like I said.
Yeah. Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, so I was basically accurate.
More or less.
More or less, which is important. That's what I strive for, all right?
Yeah.
It's funny when it's funny because the way that we approach Dota is so different in so many ways, but I never think about these specific numbers. I just eyeball everything.
Well, it was just it was like offensive to me because it was like, think of how many things in the last like half a year were motivated by the fact that we got our jungle back. And you're just like, I don't know, 2 months ago maybe? Like, no! Sven was in the game. Like, we had a whole meta defined by Sven just eating the fucking jungle.
I know. Anyway, I don't want to think about Sven. All right. Anything else before we talk about the heroes that we're going to play this week?
About last hitting? I mean, this.
I mean, not necessarily last hitting, but we could do anything. We could talk about whatever we want.
Yeah, we could really talk about really anything, huh?
Yeah, boy, this is where I wish I had like prepped a secondary segment. I didn't realize this was going to be so quick. I thought like your auditing of Teach Me Tuesday was going to extend for like half an hour.
There's really not too much to it, is there?
No,
it's like, do it better.
Yeah,
and here's the
that's what it is.
Under tower.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a shame that there's no quick tricks. No, I was gonna say no cheat codes, but I was like, that's gonna make me sound like somebody's parent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just talk about our heroes, shall we?
Well, some will come up.
Yeah, this week God willing, we're gonna win. Because we both need it. That's for sure. We're gonna be playing Quap and Skywrath Mage. That's the exciting new combo for this week.
Hell yeah.
So let's talk about Quap for a while because I hate Quap and I have a miserable experience with Quap, but you love Quap.
She's
great. I just don't play her, and I have that the logical fallacy. I have bias because I have bias in that I see it lose a lot on my team, and I do not acknowledge that it wins when it's against me. And so it gives me the like cognitive bias that the hero's bad, which like I actively know is not true. But it's one of those things where like, I just have a bad experience with the hero. And so I just kind of hate seeing this hero in my pubs. I know that she's good, but I find her to be bad in practice, if that makes sense. And I don't play her, despite her being, like I said, a good hero.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it because you love her.
Yeah,
and a lot of people do. Like, she's a good hero. Just not for me.
I'm curious what my like win rate on Quap is right now before I go into it, because I thought it was pretty good, but on
my win rate's 59%. Actually, I thought it would be low.
In Dota, mine is like 56.5, but like that may have been before I actually started playing her. Let's see heroes. Let's go to this.
I can't believe I have 46 games of Quap.
That's more than I have 46 as well, actually, on the fucking dot.
That's weird.
That's cool. Okay, Quap. This starts with a Q, right?
Yes.
Queen. Quap. No, yeah, that's accurate. 56%. All right. Anyway,
man, so I'm better at Quap than you. That's what we've established.
Well, okay. Let's filter for last 12 months, and we'll see where this goes.
I've only played it like once the last 12 months.
Well, see, this will be my advantage.
Actually, no, I have 5. Oh, yeah, okay, 5.
It's about the same. All right,
6. Yeah, 5 games in the last 12 months. 6 months. 1 game.
Yeah. Well,
and it barely counts. Barely counts. So in the last 6 months, or I mean,
did you lose it?
The game is
0%.
Yeah, 0% win rate in the last 6 months.
Nice.
And the game is like literally 6 months ago. It's not like it's.
All right. Well, we have a 65% in the last 6 months. So let's.
All right.
Now we're
happy.
I'm glad we got that baseline.
I'm glad we tuned the data that we were consuming.
Yeah. Besides the numbers is good. Yeah. All right. I could do 3 months if I really wanted to impress you.
And then I have 0 games.
100%. Yeah. So Quap's great. She's a mid. She's a lane dominator. But that like has come to mean less and less. I disagree so strongly. Her animation is not that good.
It's amazing. Her missile speed is amazing. That's the big thing.
It's lower than Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, but her missile speed is like 10 times better than Shadow Fiend.
No, it's not. I just said it's slower than Shadow Fiend.
Her missile speed?
Yes.
There's no way.
Look it up. Let's look it up.
I'm going to.
Phil. No, I'm out here. You look up Shadow Fiend. I'll look up.
I'm already on Queen of Pain.
Oh my god, what a terrible set. Okay,
projectile speed 1500.
Shadow Fiend. Let's see where it is. Where the fuck? Projectile speed. Where is this? Oh yeah, okay. Quap is faster. Yep, that's fair. You got it.
Yeah. What's his?
Maybe it was OD. Anyway.
What's his? What's his projectile speed?
1200.
Like 1,000. 1,200? Okay.
Yeah, it's
I knew this. Well, that's why Quap is used in 1v1 tournaments. And that's why like people used to, when they would practice playing mid and last hitting and like perfect equilibrium, they'd always use Quap.
I must have had a higher like wind up or something because I was last hitting against a Shadow Fiend and we would start at the same time and his would hit. So it's probably something. Yeah. Her wind up I think is the part that kind of gets me. Anyway,
it's weird.
Yeah, so she's weird, man. Because so she's like squishy. She does a lot of like she does a big mix of damage. She has a lot of right click because she has a lower base attack time. It's 1.5, which is like anti-mage's base attack time. She's got like a bunch of pure damage and an AoE with her ultimate that effects pretty far away from you. Then she has magic damage kind of like all up in her business with just Scream of Pain. So she kind of has to get in close to use her lowest cooldown nuke. And then Shadow Strike, which is like the fucking redheaded stepchild of Quap's amazing toolkit. That's this weird, like it's a slow and it's a dot, but it doesn't scale super well. And it's got a kind of low cast range until it's like maxed out. But once you get a bunch of points in it, it's like a 4-second cooldown, 15-second Venomous Gale. I mean, on single target, but it's amazing when it's maxed, but like you can't just not have Scream of Pain. So like Quap's weird. She's squishy. She has perfect positioning through Blink. She can just like snap into aggression kind of whenever she wants through Blink, and it can be really easy to just fucking suck on Quap because the way that you think you go is, oh, I see someone, I blink in, Shadow Strike, Scream of Pain, and then ulti. Like that's the very obvious combo. But Quap's a fucking like a paper person, and she just folds when you do that. And so the way I like to play Quap is I play it like I'm Phantom Assassin, only instead of throwing daggers, I throw daggers through my right click and occasionally through my Q. And I guess also Scream sometimes. So I kind of just don't use Scream of Pain until the time is right, like very right. Her right click is like honestly incredibly good. It's ranged, which is, you know, obviously nice. It's got a really low base attack time, so you get a lot out of it for less investment. She builds treads very naturally, and one of her best items is Orchid, which like Orchid is a really strong right clicking item, and it's even stronger if you're if you're an int tier, obviously, because it has int in it. Like how much fucking damage does Orchid give you? It's like fucking 50 or something.
It does.
It is 30 damage and 25. Yeah, so Quap gives her 55 damage. That's more than wild, a Deso. Actually. Yeah, that's a shit ton. That's that's like, not more than a Battle Fury, is it? No, it's more. Yeah, Battle Fury is 45.
45.
Yeah, so that's 10 more damage than a Battle Fury, 5 more than a Deso. Like that's one of the highest plus damage items in the game if you're an int tier. It's really crazy. And it gives her insane mana regen too, and also the damage amplified by the they pop from the silence when that goes away, and it gives you 30 attack speed too. Like it's fucking good, great.
It's
great
one of those
right
items. Clicks. It's one of those utility items where every time I do look at the stats, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. But you just so infrequently look at the stats because in a lot of games, if you're going to buy an Orchid, you're buying an Orchid because you want the Orchid silence, and then you're like, oh, stats and stuff, those are nice too. I'm glad you mentioned the quote unquote the ideal combo of like, oh, you blink and you do all this crap. That's why I feel like I hate this hero so much, is because every game I play with it on my team, it's so obvious when people are bad at her. That is why I have that bias against her, because every game I see with a bad Quap and they're just aggressively blinking and feeding, it's so obvious that it's just so obvious. I feel like aggressive blinking was one of the first bad habits that I had to like train myself to stop. And I think it's a really common habit, not only for Quap, but for people that are unfamiliar with like AM or unfamiliar with Quap or just even blink dagger heroes, is making those kind of unnecessarily forward blinks and aggressive blinks, and then they just feed.
Yeah, that's like one of the things you think about with anti-mage and Quap when you're looking at enemy team compositions, and Puck as well, but Puck this doesn't really come into account for. But yeah, for these heroes with kind of single use mobilities, like anti-mage and Quap. Anti-mage, the cooldown goes down some, but if you blink in, no longer do you have the advantage of, oh, they can't kill me because they don't have a lot of disable. Like they don't need disable if your blink is on cooldown. So anytime you go in, you're basically saying I am now vulnerable to die for 5 seconds. And if you blink towards someone, you are drastically increasing the likeliness that you're about to fucking die.
Yeah, you're also blinking towards their team 90% of the time.
Yeah,
naturally,
and into them
how the map works.
You're trying to Scream of Pain, which is a radius around you. So you like blink into the center of them. And you're like, hey, here I am.
You're forced to stand still.
Yeah, and then you're just like, ha! And then you die. You just fucking go down.
Aggressive blinking is truly the worst thing in Dota. Obviously, like sometimes it is the proper move to make aggressive blinks.
I mean, it's what you do with Blink Dagger, because that's all. You can't defensively blink with a Blink Dagger. Otherwise, it's on cooldown when you get hit. But with anti-mage and Quap, that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, in general, there are some heroes that like Blink Dagger is more of a mixture item. Like because there's a difference between a positioning blink and an aggressive blink. Like a CM might have a Blink Dagger and blink to get into a good position versus blinking aggressively and like just dying. Anyway, blinking aggressively is something that I feel like I didn't notice, and then somebody pointed out that it was bad. Like this is probably the first thing that I like really actively worked on in my play. Like 3 years ago, I noticed, or somebody pointed out in like a pro game or whatever. They're like, "Yeah, this person keeps blinking aggressively and they're just dying." And ever since then, it is the thing that stands out the most to me in watching people play and whatnot is lots of people are really bad at Dota solely because they blink aggressively on heroes that should not be blinking aggressively, namely Quap. 900% of the time it is Quap, actually. I just want to give that very legit stat out there.
Yes.
So don't blink aggressively.
I mostly agree with that. The other thing, like, honestly, the bottom line is just her right click is really fucking good and people underplay it so much.
And it works. Like, her itemization works towards it and her talents work towards it. Like, everything is good. Yeah,
the talent that everyone always gets is the 10 strength, which is it's a great talent, don't get me wrong. But the second you get that, that's when your damage kind of falls off. Like if I'm level 20, I'm level 16 here, I get plus 25 damage, and at 15 I get 40 attack speed. Like the 12% cooldown reduction honestly sucks, and it's not going to change anything about anything that you do. The 40 attack speed, like if you have the ability on Quap to just always be 550 range away from anything that's happening, and then you can, blink in to secure kills instead of needing to use your blink just to get your damage out. That's just a much, much better situation. And also, like, Shadow Strike, you're going to be better off if you're throwing that at, like, a distance from you because you have to stop moving when you cast it. Your ultimate, you're better at using that if people are far away from you because then they don't just, take 3 steps, instantly they're behind you and your Scream of Pain or your Sonic Wave doesn't hit anymore. And it's also like Sonic Wave goes out really fucking far. It's like 450 away from you. It's basically your attack range too. So if I'm auto attacking someone, my Scream of Pain or my Sonic Wave is also probably going to hit them. And Scream of Pain, what is its radius? It's like 300 or something. So not quite as big, but it's something.
475.
Yeah. Oh, really? 475 on Scream of Pain or Sonic Wave?
Scream of Pain. Sonic Wave is 450. For the max radius at the end, it's
why is Scream of Pain smaller? What the fuck?
I'm in the Dota client. It says radius 475 for Scream of Pain. Sonic Wave max radius as 450 at the very end.
That's weird. It may have be like the way the projectile works is in like circles or something. So the last one is like bigger, kind of like Jakiro, and some like Dragon Knight Breath, you like shoot it out to a certain spot and then it goes further than that. It might be something like that.
You're like Raze hits certain parts that are not part of the Raze.
So he just
maybe I don't
hit a ton of damage.
I kind of want to play this hero now.
So I have I'm level 16 and I want to say like 93 damage or something right now. Or 193 damage. Sorry, that's way different. And that's like more than most heroes have. Queen of Pain as a right clicker, like she has amazing damage skills, like that's not up for debate, and perfect positioning through blink. And most other right clickers would like very there are very few actual ranged right clickers in the game with real range, right? There's Clinks, who has no fucking good skills. There's Drow, who also has no fucking good skills.
He has a long silence.
Yeah, but like that's not like, oh, Drow, she's super solid. She doesn't really need her right click. She can honestly just lean on her gust if she needs to. Like that's not true.
Okay, that's fair.
What other ranged heroes are like in the game?
Razor.
He's got a short range.
His short range. He's like 550 or something.
Yeah, well, that's Quap. I think he's like 475. Yeah, Medusa also is good. Doesn't come online till forever. Medusa's very good, but
range.
Morphling short range. Shadow Fiend is good, but Shadow Fiend's a whole deal. That's a whole thing to think about. Arc Warden doesn't actually really right click until he's got a ton of fucking items on him. There's probably like Morana, not a carry. She's not like she's a good right click, but it's like it's an okay right click. As far as carries are concerned. And that's kind of it. Like those are all the long range heroes. Like OD's got a decent long range, but he's countered by BKB and he needs a shit ton of items and he needs to kind of, like
Weaver.
snowball. And Weaver's got a kind of short one too.
Yeah.
Weaver's like Venge range. Anyway, yeah, like that's the point. There's not that many very long range heroes or many heroes that have as long a range as Quap. And also the ones that do exist, they have issues with their positioning. Like if they get gone on and they get, if you get on top of a Drow, she fucking dies. If you get on top of a Quap, you can blink. It's great. And she's like a natural Linken's builder too. So she just has like infinite mana to do all the shit that she wants to. And also it's like a natural defense on her. And her talents are just like fucking good. Everything about her is just fucking strong for dealing damage. It's just, if you blink in and die, you're fucked. Any hero that buys Orchid too, like if you just look at what she gets out of the items that she has, if you think there was an agility hero that could get these kind of things, they would fucking go crazy. Like she gets, Treads obviously is good. Any hero that has to go phase for mobility is very sad because Treads are amazing. 25 damage at level 10 is solid. Like Gyro gets that, and he's very happy every time he gets that. 40 attack speed at level 15 is really good. Like that's super solid. That's kind of on tier with like Dragon Knight's level 15 talent that turned him into a good hero. He gets like 40 damage. She gets 40 attack speed. That's good. And she's also building a lot of int, so she has a bunch of plus damage. But not a ton of attack speed, so that kind of covers for it. Veil of Discord, amazing stats on that item. 6 armor, 5 HP regen, and then it's got like 6 attack speed, 120 health, and then 14 int, which is 14 damage for her. That's like a fucking Aquila on crack. Like it's insanely good.
And the build-up's great.
Yeah, and the build-up is the build-up is also perfect because it's just what you're buying on its own. I mean, so is Aquila, but yeah, like Veil of Discord is like if you could just buy 2 Aquilas and they stacked in the same slot. Like I would do that every game. That's incredible. And then normally I like to get Orchid after that because, the earlier you get an Orchid, the less defenses they have for it, and you don't really need extra HP regen because you've already got your Veil that gives you the HP. So if you got Linken's for like, the HP regen on Linken's is kind of irrelevant. The mana regen's really good, but like if you don't need the active on Linken's, it's not gonna do anything crazy for you. Orchid Malevolence gives you 2.25 mana regen, which is like, it's crazy. It's a shit ton. The way that Quap farms is not only her right click, but also, Scream of Pain is a 7-second cooldown, AoE 300 damage nuke. And it costs a shit ton of money, so you always have clarities going on Quap. But as soon as you get an Orchid, you're not spending, 50 gold every 50 seconds that's like 1 gold a second to support my clarity addiction on Queen of Pain. That's like, it's non-ideal, but you gain so much fucking gold the more screams you use, the better. But as soon as you get the Orchid, you are totally fine on mana for the most part. Like I'm level 1 here and I have 7 mana regen with just like the Veil and the Orchid on. If I go to like, let's level up to when I actually have that, it's probably like, I don't know, level 14 or 15 or something. Yeah, I've got 10 mana regen. It's pretty fucking solid. Put a wand in there, bam, 10.1, amazing. Yeah, and then that's kind of Quap. And she scales amazingly the whole game through. Like her right clicks are always relevant, which I've addressed several times now. At level 20, she gets that 650 AoE Shadow Strike that we thought was shit, but is actually amazing if you play Quap like this. Like if you play a Quap that runs in the middle of everything and fucking dies, yeah, the 70% or the 30% spell lifesteal is good because you have to get a Mjolnir with it, and then you can survive through all the stupid shit you pull off for no fucking reason. But if you just like live and don't kill yourself for no fuck, you can get the 650 AoE Shadow Strike. And that's insane, Sam. Have you ever used it?
I have not. I'm actually just last hitting, and I was trying to think. So we talked a lot about like her first couple items, right? You get the Treads and then Veil, Orchid, Linken's usually, if not Linken's, BKB. What are your late game decisions? Because that's something that I always run into on Quap, both as a good thing and a bad thing, is that she has a lot of options because she can go Scythe, she can go AC, she can go Mjolnir.
Wait, I got
what
one
do you
thing
find
to say.
yourself building
so
most?
I'm in demo mode. And somehow I have a tiny anti-mage here. I don't know how the fuck it spawned, but there is a miniature anti-mage in the middle of my demo mode. Like, it's fucking, like, it goes up to my boot. I don't know how this got made. What?
I don't have one in mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I spawned 2 axes and then one of them come out as a fucking tiny anti-mage. This is bizarre. He's got a regular voice. It's not high pitched. Anyway, this is a little thing that happened to me. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just asking, like, what is your common 6-slot quap?
Yeah, so I'd say I pretty much still get Lincolns on her just because there's so few instances where Lincolns isn't good. One of the things that people don't really understand completely about why certain heroes like Weaver and Queen of Pain and Morphling get Lincolns, it's because those heroes have protocols to manage anytime there is danger. And the only real way you can kill those heroes is if you surprise them so they don't know there's danger. So if you get a Lincoln Sphere, it's like you have a tripwire to like, oh shit, someone's in my house. Now I'm going to like run to the safety room, aka use Blink, which is more like an ejection cockpit outside of your garage.
Oh, I have a mini anti-mage now.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
It's weird, huh?
Okay,
He's
anyway, yeah,
burning my
that's a good
mana.
way to... It's a good way to kind of summarize why those heroes are Lincoln's heroes compared to BKB heroes, right? Because all the BKB heroes that are, BKB is core on, BKB is core because they're in the thick of it and they don't have an escape mechanic. But the Lincoln's heroes, they have an escape mechanic. They just need to not be surprised and prevented from using said escape mechanic.
Like you kill a Morphling by a Skywrath Mage popping out and, silencing you, and then, then you can't. Well, not anymore. Silencing you, and then you can't waveform out. I was going to say stat shift, but that's gone now. In a Weaver, you kill a Weaver by, like, silencing Weaver out of nowhere, and then, you jump in Orchid a Weaver, and then he just fucking dies. But if he's got Lincolns, the second that pops, you're just like, time lapse! And then you're out. Nothing, 5 seconds in the past of making a mistake, you're fine. That's why Lincoln's is great on this series, and it's great on co-op too, because if you're playing well, you're not blinking in and fucking dying for no reason. So if you have a Lincoln's, second, fucking Storm zips in and Orchids you fucking jump before his animation for his little lightning pole can happen. Mm-hmm. And if it's not a Lincoln's game, if you do have Veil and Orchid, you're not too hurt, I guess, by not having the mana regen. So you're fine to just not go Lincolns. Like a lot of heroes, you end up just getting Lincolns every game because even if it's not a great Lincolns game, your every build on the hero is based around having the regen. Like Morphling needs the mana regen of Lincolns. The only way, and the health regen. Like the only way to not do that is if you get like there was a long time on Morphling that I was going like Halberd. And the Halberd would give you the HP regen, and then you would like try to get your mana regen just from like, I don't even remember what I was doing to get that. But like I tried really a bunch of stupid shit to try to get enough mana regen from other sources to make up for it. But like it sucks. Like Morphling really wants Lincolns, and for like every reason. But Queen of Pain isn't really held down by that. So you can get the Black King bar also. And a Queen of Pain with just like Veil, Orchid, BKB is terrifying in a team fight. It's like about as terrifying as a Shadow Fiend, only you have no ability to stop her from doing anything she wants. Not only can she like BKB and not care about any of your shit, but she can also blink away as soon as the BKB is over, so you can't like wait for it to time out and then kill her. There's just like there's so many options as far as items go. So if I'm not going Lincolns, I get these. I'll probably get the BKB there or something, and I might just at that point. Sometimes I just go straight for the Bloodthorn. Like the Bloodthorn is really solid. The AC is another good option. AC or Shiva's are both strong, and she farms really fast. So you have a good escape, and you have a BKB, so you're pretty guaranteed to escape from a lot of fights. So it's not too out of this world to be going for big items like Scythe relatively early on. Like that was like Skrunk's first build on Quap was he would just like rush Scythe. And it was great.
It's like Treads, Bottle, Scythe.
It was like Treads, Bottle, Wand, and then you get a Scythe. Or maybe it was like Ag's Scythe or some shit like that back when Ag's was useful. I pretty much never get Ag's, so that item fucking sucks. Yeah, I feel like that's most of it. Like Shadowblade is also really good on Queen of Pain, so that you can like initiate and jump in on people, or you have an additional escape, and you have enough mana to compensate for it. And it's another one of those items. Like if I was an Agi hero, I would want like Agi heroes like Shadowblade but it's one of the few carry items that isn't dependent on you being a carry attributed hero. So Shadow Babe is 22 damage and 30 attack speed, but none of those, that's not agi, that's just Quap stats. Like Quap uses damage, Quap uses attack speed. And then when you upgrade it to Silver Edge, if that's that kind of game, yeah, it has 15 agi, but it's got 15 int too. So you're not really hurt by the fact that that it has agi on it, because it also has a compensating amount of int. So Quap is getting just as much out of Silver Edge as like a Troll Warlord is for the most part. That's a really good option. Nullifier is also very good on her, because if she blinks up and orchids you and just starts beating the shit out of you, and she nullifies you, you're fucked. And Nullify is gonna be like keep getting refreshed because you're a ranged hero. It's not just gonna be like, oh, they someone force step them and they're gone. Like, I'm gonna keep throwing it on you. You're gonna stay slowed.
Yeah. So last thing on Quap that I want to talk about. So
Scotty too. Scotty's great. Has
good.
agi, but it's got it too, so it's fine. I don't actually like Mjolnir is good, but I feel like it's kind of a trap because I'm not incredibly interested in doing a lot of AoE damage on Quap because I already kind of do that. I'm more interested in I lay down the AoE damage and then I use my right click to like finish someone off. But if I get Mjolnir, it's just kind of more of the same. Like, I'm not actually going to kill someone.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's just there are other things I want out of my right clicks.
Okay, so last thing, and something that I've kind of struggled with on Quap before, because I normally just feel it out, but I don't know the exact right thing. What is her skill build, right? Because normally, you're getting your level 1, you're getting Shadow Strike, because you're going to win lane with it.
Whether you get Blink or Shadow Strike at level 1 is dependent on how afraid you are. But you're going to have 1 Shadow Strike, 1 Blink at level 2. And then if you're against a melee hero or a hero that is easy to Shadow Strike, you'll have 2 points in Shadow Strike. And if not...
Do you ever go past 2?
No.
That's when it becomes an overinvestment? Because that's what I was wondering about primarily.
Yeah. So
and you only get 1 Blink.
Yeah, you keep it there, yeah. So 1 Blink, at most 2 Shadow Strike, and then you max Scream of Pain. And if you're not doing incredibly well in your lane, like if you don't have both Power Treads and 2 Null Talismans and a Clarity in your backpack and a Wand with a couple charges, you don't get Sonic Wave at level 6 because there's just not enough mana to spend like, what's her whole fucking combo? 110 mana for Shadow Strike, 60 for Blink, Scream of Pain is 140, and then 250 mana on Sonic Wave. Like, that's more mana than anyone has if they are
That's 560.
Yeah, that's a shit ton. And if you use like 1 spell beforehand, like you need to be at full mana to use that at all. If you've blinked and Shadow Striked, or you're spamming Shadow Strike for harass and lane too. Like, there's a very high chance you're just not gonna have Sonic Wave. And even if you do, a second Scream of Pain is almost as good. Second Scream of Pain is almost as good if you have the additional point in it. Normally I'll get like Sonic Wave at level 8. And at level 7, I'll have my Scream of Pain maxed, and that way I can compensate for having 2-point Shadow Strike. So I can have level 5, 2 point, like 2-1-2 at level 5, level 6, 3rd point Scream of Pain, level 7, last point of Scream of Pain, level 8, get my Sonic Wave.
Okay, perfect, makes sense.
That's the most common way to do it. That's the safest way to go, I guess.
Okay, that sheds a lot of light. Let's talk about Skywrath fairly quickly. He's not quite as complex as Quap, but I will say I've been having a really good time with this hero, and I've seen a lot of people doing well in this hero recently. He fits in well to this kind of new support meta that's a bit more open. We're not obligated to have a rigid like, hey, we need to have a tanky roamer like that stuns. We don't necessarily need that so much anymore. Although obviously, you'll still have that in a lot of games. Skywrath is in a weird position where he's not really a 5, but he does not fulfill that, stereotypical tanky roamer 4 position type deal. He's really good as a counter pick, specifically, like the early game, the game I was talking about earlier, where the enemy team had a Timbersaw. Skywrath is one of the best Timbersaw counters, if not the best Timbersaw counter in laning phase, and also just in the whole game. The hero also is incredibly strong against Axe. People frequently have problems against Axe. So Skywrath is a good hero to have in your wheelhouse to deal with situations like this and to deal with certain picks, because a lot of heroes, right, they build into BKB, they build into Hood, they build into health, whatever, and so that makes spell damage a little not super effective. But they're not going to have these things in the early game, and spell damage early game is really scary. But the thing is, most heroes that are spell damaging heroes do not have the ability to spam it early, whereas Skywrath actually does. So on Skywrath, this is also a 5. I did actually have a really good Skywrath mid game the other day. People are playing it every once in a while now. I use it as a counter pick if the enemy team has a really like high investment mid and my team is greedy in other lanes. Like, let's say I have a Timbersaw off lane and like a PA safe lane. Yeah. I'm not going to play Shadow Fiend there, because if I play Shadow Fiend, nobody's going to get farm on my team. But if I play Skywrath, I can win my lane super hard. I don't need rotations unless they rotate on me. And then I can rotate around and win other lanes after I either get a good rune or after I... You're not going to take your tower as a Skywrath, honestly, but after I've sufficiently dominated my lane. So yeah. It's a nice hero to play mid every once in a while. That being said, I also kind of hate it just gutturally.
Yeah, you're gonna lose the game for your team if you do that.
Yeah,
make one mistake.
Yeah, and like if they get BKBs and they win one fight, it's kind of like last week we were talking about how certain heroes like Lifestealer, if they die twice after hitting their tempo spike, you lose the game. Skywrath is exactly like that. It's like if you are doing really well, it doesn't matter how well you're doing. The enemy team can always come back if they get a BKB. So you really have to either close out the game or make enough space that the heroes that you are making space for get online. Again, like if you have a PA. If PA is nice to have when you're playing a Skywrath core or even a Skywrath support, just because the heroes do opposite things. So if they're itemizing against you, that means they're not itemizing against PA. And if they're itemizing against PA and building armor, then they're not itemizing against you and building, magic resist and whatnot. Anyway, the thing that really got me to play Skywrath again is Kaya. Kaya is an item that we've seen on a few heroes as a real standout, namely Storm and Tinker. But I've been playing around with it a lot on supports, specifically Ancient Apparition and Skywrath, and I don't think I've picked it up on anybody else, but I've been thinking about buying it on Rubik in some games where I'm stealing a lot of high cost abilities. And it's just a really dumb. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't build on Rubik too often, but in the right game, potentially. No, I could see it. I could see a reason for it. No, I mean, you have a force already. Like you don't ever build Kaya first on a hero like that.
Well, yeah, if you got Blink Force on Rubik, I mean, like, I would go for more than 2,000
Okay, so
here's
the thing about Kaya on supports is that Kaya is just super efficient in terms of it's cheap, the build-up's easy, and the stats it gives is amazing. And it scales really well. So that's why I enjoy the item so much.
Yeah, I mean, I like it on Skywrath, but not Rubik. I don't think on Rubik.
Dude, you can build anything on Rubik. I'm a testament to that.
Yeah, I think Armlet is actually a lot better than Kaya on Rubik.
And like Dark Willow support builds sure. Kaya.
She gets a
CM builds Kaya, or can build Kaya.
I don't know about that one.
Jakiro can build Kaya. Leshrac support, Lena support, Lion support
sure.
builds Kaya.
I don't know about
Kaya's
that one.
Super legit. Ogre builds Kaya.
There's a lot of good items though in the game that aren't Kaya on a support.
Yeah. It's a matter of I find that Kaya is a really good support item if you are in a very aggressive tempo and can continue to be aggressive. It's an oppressive item to the enemy. Like it just creates more problems that they already can't deal with. But it's not an item to buy if you're behind.
Like, probably get a Veil if you're a support and you're trying to amp up the magic damage, because Veil does more damage than a Kaya does, just flat out, if you're only dealing magic damage, and it helps your team more as a support.
Yeah, but it's also way more expensive, like almost 1,000 gold more expensive.
No way.
Yeah.
It's like 400.
Veil is 2330 and Kaya's 1950. I round up to the nearest 1,000, and I never round down.
The nearest 1,000 is 0.
Well, no.
Well, it's because you don't. If you have the number 3, you don't round up to 10.
See, but I'm just redefining the rules of rounding.
You're just
your thinking is very limited.
Okay, you have like a weird integer system where anything that's above one number goes to instantly the next one. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, the one that I like. That's the one specifically that it goes to.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, you just got to go with the time. It's like what's that thing we talked about in the Patreon episode, Teriology, like the universal theory of math.
Right.
Anyway, okay. Now that we've gotten math out of the way, as as is the theme on Fourth Spirit, let's talk a little bit about Skywrath's position as a roamer. In general, you're playing this obviously as a 4 or a 5, ideally more as like a 4 that's a little greedier because he does well with items. But you're just roaming around being really annoying. You can go for kills, but honestly, going for kills, you need a good partner, either as another support or as like a lane. Like if you have a mid Quap, you can go for kills reasonably because Quap's going to keep him low thanks to daggers. She has a lot of burst. But if your mid is like, I don't know, a DK, it's like you're not going to kill people early on. Yeah. So you're basically just trying to win lanes by virtue of dealing a crap load of damage, and then you just go back to base or you clarity up. Skywrath was one of the first heroes back when the metagame for supports was use all your mana and feed to neutrals. Skywrath kind of created that because you would just use all your mana, die, come back, use all your mana again, die, come back, use all your mana again. And it was really, really disgusting, so they had to nerf it.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, even though we did manage to lose when Stan King did it with us when he guessed on the show. But that's neither here nor there. That's really it on Skywrath. Like, it sounds overly simplified, but the key on Skywrath is just finding a way to bother people until they lose the game. You are more concerned with dealing damage than killing people, which seems like a backwards way of thinking, but it's accurate. Your skill build, I vary mine a bit. But in general, so you're always maxing Arcane Bolt like 1,000% of the time, just because it's like it scales amazingly. And you're always getting ult at 6. The thing that I kind of flip flop on is if you want damage, you can level Concussive Shot second. You always want a value point in Concussive and a value point in Ancient Seal. Yep. Usually at level 2, you have 2 in Q and 1 in or 2 in Arcane Bolt and 1 in Concussive Shot. That being said, if you're using this as like a counter pick, like let's say I'm trying to gank a Quap mid, then I'm going to have 1 in Ancient Steel, either at level 2 or level 3. But if I am using this as a counter pick against, like you said, like a Morphling or whatever, then I will get Ancient Steel I'll max Ancient Steel second. And then if I'm not using it as a counter pick, I'll just get the damage from Concussive Shot and level Concussive Shot again. Also, the cooldown difference is really big. It goes from an 18-second cooldown all the way to a 12.
For a second, a little bit back there, but I just want to let the audience know that happened, and it's not just you. It's okay.
It's okay. I was lecturing. I'm sure nobody noticed, but you guys get to peer behind the curtain, I suppose.
I want to give you a little. I'm in the middle of running the calculations here. But I'm pretty sure Quap has better right click than Shadow Fiend at level 15 with like equivalent items, and I'm giving the Shadow Fiend a Sender Nasha build.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see. We'll get it here. Yeah, significantly. Holy shit. Yeah, she does.
She's good.
Yeah, her damage per second is like 300 with her right clicks. And Shadow Fiend. Oh, I don't think I gave Shadow Fiend here these max souls. Let's get that going.
We'll just add 72 damage.
Yeah, well, so I'm looking at an overall DPS calculation, not just that. Let's see, did it work?
Fancy.
I don't actually know if these got calculated in. How do I details? Souls, here we go. 36, yeah? 36. Enter. Here we go. Quap has about 17 more DPS with her right clicks than Shadow Fiend here, with basically equivalent items or equivalent gold spent. Yeah, 6,000, and well, it's actually a little bit more. Why is it so much more? What the fuck?
Well, because are you not factoring in Shadow Fiend's minus armor aura that he's gonna have maxed?
Oh yeah, that also I'm not. I'm looking at the gold actually. I didn't put the soul ring in. Soul ring, yeah, it's like a bit more gold on her. And you're right, I didn't put the aura in. Let's get this. Whoops, that's not the aura. There's the aura. Get that going. And is that factored in? Is this here? Details? Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I mean it's close. It's close, but
Yeah, I mean that's Shadow Fiend. I mean he does also have spells that do things, but like Shadow Fiend's the right click hero, not QoP. But
Yeah.
if you really look at it, she can get there. So
All right.
a little more fun fact for you.
So before we close out, I want to talk a little itemization on Skywrath. Whether you're a
Sure.
support or a core, it's basically equivalent. You just obviously get it faster as a core. So your first item is always going to be mana boots. If you're mid, obviously you start with a null. You can go Veil. Veil is super strong in a game where your team provides also a lot of magic damage, or if you need armor, just because it's real nice to have an armor item.
Yeah.
And the nulls offer a ton of damage on your hero just due to how your Q scales. But even if I go Veil, I'm gonna be going Kaya next. If I'm not going Veil, I'll just go straight Kaya. Then you're going Atos. If Atos, he's like maybe one of the most effective Atos builders because it combos so perfectly with all your abilities. Some folks a lot of folks go for Aether Lens. Personally, I find myself skipping it recently just because he builds so many small items.
Yeah.
But it's nice. I won't knock it. If you want to get an Aether Lens, go for it. I find that his range is already so long that it's just kind of unnecessary.
I don't want
After
you to
that,
go Aether Lens because then you'll break your mana boots and everyone else on the team is going to be like, we don't have any mana boots anymore, thanks. You have range. You already had it.
Yeah. I more or less agree with that as well. And then after that, you're going Aghanim Scepter. You can also go mobility, of course. 4 staff, build Blink, whatever. More odds are 4 staff rather than Blink. But I find his range is so long, and I'm not engaging on Skywrath. I'm like other people are engaging, then I'm counter engaging or working off of their engagement. So,
or if you get jumped on, you're fucking dead before you can 4 staff anyways.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm going Aghanim Scepter because his Aghanim Scepter is one of the best and one of the coolest in the game. It just doubles all your abilities, and it priority targets heroes. And that means you throw out 3 Arcane Bolts. If you have the Arcane Bolt talent that you get at level 15. At 15, you almost always choose 1 Arcane Bolt per cast over 6 seconds Arcane Seal cooldown, even though Arcane Seal cooldown is pretty sweet. An extra Arcane Bolt's pretty sick, I'm not going to lie. Arcane Bolt, let's see, right now, the base damage with just his base items at level 11 is 141. Then it's 1.9 times his int additionally, which is
1.6.
Weird. It says 1.9 because it's modified by my Kaya.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
funny.
didn't realize that it changed the multiplier. I'm not sure if that math.
It changes the overall output of damage, and the way that it's doing that is by modifying what's going into it rather than what's coming out, which is interesting.
Yes. That's interesting.
And that's also, your int modifying that.
Yeah, so that's, ballpark another 100 or so damage. And they're spammable, right? You're throwing them out every 2 seconds. So the double Arcane Bolts also make you farm super fast. It's really just, the best of all worlds. So I'm a big Ags lover. Especially like if you're throwing out Ancient Seal is 6 seconds long. Throwing out 2 6-second silences every 14 seconds. That's enough to win a fight easily. So yeah, his Aghanims is dope. It's just kind of
note about his Arcane Bolt talent is that like while the Ags can throw 2 bolts on the same person, if you're like Juggernaut Omni slashing, it's not like then the bolt is going to go to the same person. Like it can only bolt the one person.
Yeah,
the second
it'll
bolt
never
isn't
go
going
to person.
Yeah, it's always going to bolt a different target. So
or just not send one out at all.
Yeah. So it can only work on whoever you're not Arcane Bolting. Yes, that's what I've been trying to say.
Yeah. And in the extra Arcane Bolt per cast, I don't know if that's hero targeted. Most things are, but it doesn't specify.
I don't think it is.
I'm fairly certain it isn't. But
all the other talents like extra Stifling Dagger, they're all worthless.
Yeah, they don't prioritize.
But I mean, that's for farming, so it's fine.
Yeah. And also like
fighting, but
you're just throwing them out constantly. So odds are you're going to hit some extra people.
Sure.
And after that, a 20 Ancient Seal magic resistance reduction I would go for just for your burst potential. Because global concussive is not something that I particularly care for because your concussive range is already 1600.
Yeah.
And after that,
it's really good for buying back than not doing anything.
That's true. And then at 25, 300 GPM, or 600 Mystic Flare damage. Last game I played this, I picked Mystic Flare damage because I had Aghanim Scepter. If I did not have Aghanim Scepter yet, like if I was playing as a support, I would probably go 300 GPM. But then again, like level 25 takes a long time to get. So odds are you're probably going to end the game pretty soon, which means that 300 GPM is only going to add up to like maybe a couple thousand gold. But a couple thousand gold is a lot of gold. So do what you will. But I find
if you have a really important item you're like relatively close to getting, I would get that if you just like you judge it yourself.
And it gives you basically buyback permanently when you have that much GPM.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You know, just eyeball it. But 600 damage when you're doing 2 of them is a lot. It basically adds like a third one with the way that it works out damage wise. So yeah, that's Skywrath. And there's some nice synergy with Quap. Both have really long range pickoff potential. If they engage on Quap, I can defensively do stuff, and if they engage on me, Quap can pick them off on the back lines. We both go Veil. The situation in this game, obviously, you're going to be going Veil, so I'll probably not go Veil.
We
because
both take advantage of Veil is the better way to phrase it. But we don't need to buy it. Like, I need to buy it for myself because I need the HP regen, and I'm going to get 2 Null Talismans anyways. And if you don't have to go Veil, or if you don't need Veil, then you can just like get the Kaya and not feel guilty about anything. Yeah.
And super late Octarine Core and Scythe and whatnot. You build this hero kind of like an OD if OD didn't have to worry about right-clicking.
Yeah.
Itemization-wise.
Yeah, because similarly, you have a nuke that is completely dependent upon how much int you have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's hop into the game, shall we? And we'll be back. And before we do that, though, I'm going to do some ads because we got to pay the bills. So today's show is sponsored by both Pugna and Unicorn. Pugna, first off, is an online platform and community where high-skilled Dota players, coaches, and ex-pro players create educational video guides on how to improve at the game, learn new heroes, and help folks climb the ranks. I feel like every time I say ex-pro players, I want to like censor myself and say current pro players.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse was doing it for a while, and look where he is. He's winning.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Oh yeah, he's on complexity, and they win,
and they're good now.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's like the big surprise of it is like complexity's on a roll. Anyway, platform is totally ad free. There's no pop ups, no like side windows advertising. 19 doctors hate him because he discovered ginseng. Each hero guide is divided into smaller sections, so it's very consumable if you don't have a ton of time to sit down and watch like a 2-hour video. And you can personalize your learning because of that.
I want to watch for an hour and a half.
Then you can sit there. That's what I did when I watched the Legion Commander one.
I'm a fucking piece of shit idiot.
Sure. You'll probably become a winner. You also have Steam guides because the Dota guides, God, they're bad. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been personalizing mine gradually, and we obviously put some out for patrons. And the Steam ones are not great. I'll say that much. For some heroes.
What do you mean the Steam ones?
Like the default Dota guides for certain heroes.
Okay, I thought you meant like the guides that you can make inside of Steam. I was like, no, those are good.
Oh, no.
It's a good system.
Those are good. The ones that come with the Dota client, like base level, they tell you to build some items that people don't build anymore. Like on Quap, it says build Ags as like your core item. It's like people don't do that anymore, my friend.
Yeah, they really don't. It says to build a bottle, like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, justice for bottle. There's plenty of content for players of all skill levels to learn from, so whether you're just learning the game, you've been playing for a long time, or you just, you're in that middle ground, you can always improve a bit by doing some research. You can try out the full Pugna Pro subscription for 30 days, 100% free with our promo code 4th. That's not case sensitive. People ask us, you could just use it however you like it, as long as you spell out FOURTH.
We could just tell them it's case sensitive, and then regardless of the way we answer it, it'll work.
That's true, yeah. You find Pugna on Twitter at Pugna or at Pugna.com. That's PVGNA.
Okay.
Our second sponsor for this episode is Unicorn. Unicorn
we got the last one wrong. Well, I did. You got it right. Turns out Fnatic was good.
Yeah. That's fair.
What do you mean it's fair? That's what happened.
No, I mean that's fair. I'm glad that somebody won. Right, okay. Like we just gotta hedge our bets every time. You bet on one, I bet on the other.
Okay,
I don't think that's how
now.
I don't think that's how you make money betting. But I gotta ask my dad, dude. My dad is big on horse races. I gotta I gotta like get his mind working on how to bet on Dota, and I'll just be rolling Unicorn Silver. I actually, I won't finish the ad yet, but I will say I was on Unicorn and I put in for a whole bunch of raffles to get, what was it? I got the Immortal Mace from last TI. I think I put in like I forget how much Unicorn Gold I put in, but I put in a whole bunch. So we'll see if I win that. I hope I do, because that mace I wanted, and that was the one thing I didn't get from last year's TI crates. Anyway, Unicorn is your premier esports outlet. Unicorn has completely legal and free-to-play esports betting everywhere, as well as real money betting if you live in the UK or Australia. I know B-Dub was pointing out there, they had some changes with, there were some changes to Australian betting from one of like the big websites or big companies, but Unicorn already had all their stuff done, so you don't need to worry about that. In terms of like, what's it called?
Change ups or whatever, licenses.
Whatever. In terms of like the legal stuff, because there's all like a billion things with betting. Anyway, yeah, so don't worry about that. You can earn betting tokens as well as Unicorn Gold, which can also be used as a betting token, I believe, to use on cosmetic item raffles like the ones I was just talking about, just by playing your favorite games, like Ranked Dota 2. Again, that's how I've been earning my Unicorn Gold. In addition to esports betting, you can find plenty of other excellent Dota 2 content, including articles, pro meta analysis, guides to new patches right when they go live, and other common interest esports pieces from folks like Gorgon and many others at Unicorn.
Great.
Unicorn also has Unicorn Connect, which is how you get Unicorn Gold, like I was talking about, where you connect your Steam account, and then it says, hey, he won a ranked game, give him money. Or, well, not money, but, Unicorn Gold, which is effectively money. That is CONNEKT. You can find more info on that at unicorn.com/connect. This is unicorn, UNIKRN, and connect, CONNEKT. And that's about it. Let's hop into our game, shall we?
Okay.
I gotta stop saying shall we. I'm sorry.
You've said
Let's
it
hop
4
into our
times
game.
this
Point.
time, actually. You've said
Period.
it 4 times so far.
That's okay. That's okay.
Let's go. Okay, here we go. Theorycraft Thursday, round 1. The stage of fate is set. Ready? Fight!
Yikes.
Well, there's always next game, friend.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So we're back. We have just completed our game. It was only one game this week, so much better than last week already from the get-go. All right. So obviously, as you heard from the intro, from the intermission music, we did lose, but it was a close game. It was a good game. So let's talk about it, shall we, Proud?
Okay.
Oh God, you're killing me, dude. I can't believe
How
really
often
didn't.
you say "shall we"?
I really didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was that often.
It's like really obnoxious, honestly. Like before I addressed it, I would just like cringe every time. It's like, "Shall we? Shall we?" Ugh.
But it's like
rough.
it's an inviting phrase. It's an inviting phrase.
Yeah, but it's just like if you just didn't
Take my
say
hand.
it ever,
Let's go on a journey and talk about Dota.
Yeah, but it's just like relentless. That and of course, those are the "shall we" and "of course" are the kind of like words that don't really add anything to the sentences that you put in.
Of course is like a
We're
very
here,
affirmative.
of course. Like I didn't need you to say "of course" there. Like what?
Well, it's of course
It's
because
certainly
people
true.
people assume people are like, we're supposed to be here, so of course we're here. Anyway, I think that's fair. It's just one of those things that I never noticed how much to say "shall we" until you pointed it out.
I mean, feel free to
and
call
now I
me
can't
out
stop.
on something because I'm sure I say things that are
Yours
I
is just cursing.
yeah,
yours
but,
is
and
just
that's,
cursing.
That's just who I am. See, I'd rather be the guy who says "fuck" often than the fucking "shall we" like fedora neckbeard.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
No, I know, I know. Like that's
but-
not. Don't worry, babe.
It's close enough. It is what it is.
It's
Anyway,
okay. It's okay. Don't worry.
shall we make moves and talk about this game?
Okay.
I'm so proud.
Yeah.
So I'll just read the team comes off. So our team had a safe lane duo lane of Weaver and Skywrath Mage. We had a mid lane Queen of Pain, and we had an off lane duo lane of Monkey King and Trant Protector. So you can see which of those lanes is a weird lane, and the other two are pretty normal. The enemy team had a off lane Abaddon, so Abaddon against our Weaver Skywrath, which is a pretty good matchup for us. Then they had a mid lane Viper, which is a very bad matchup for Quap, unfortunately. And they had a safe
it's
lane.
not that bad. I'd say it's even.
Really? I would have assumed
Yeah.
it was pretty bad.
No, it's even.
And then their safe lane tri-lane was Anti-Mage, which was the real kink in our system. And then their supports were Rubik and Nyx Assassin. So lots of stuns from their supports. Nice kill lane. Anti-Mage is not great at killing people, but the Nyx plus Rubik is a really solid support duo. So
Yeah.
I don't remember the full pick order, and it's not super, super important. But the important bits are that I first picked Skywrath, and then they went super hard into countering me initially. I think they immediately picked a Nyx.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a core, so it wasn't the end of the world. Honestly, I didn't even notice Nyx being a problem. The real problem that entered into the game was the fact that Anti-Mage was the perfect pick for this game for their team. I can't think of a better hero in this game than Anti-Mage if I was playing carry for them. So that was our real problem. Let's just get going from the laning phase. So
we started it off pretty good with. I mean, we were kind of blessed in that we had a Weaver, which doesn't require a bunch of help. So you were able to get me off to a good start against Viper, and I was pretty handily winning the mid lane for a good period of time. The one thing with Quap is you figure, oh, there's no point in getting Dagger because he'll just get corrosive, and then it's fucking pointless. But hey, guess what, buddy? He doesn't get corrosive level 1. So at level 1, you just Q'd him a couple times. I threw my Q out. He Q'd. It was good. It was good. And I denied a bunch. I last hit a bunch. Within 30 seconds, I was 200 gold up on him. A little more than that, actually. It was good. And then as the lane kind of went on, it went kind of back into his favor. He got his Aquila about when I got my my second null talisman. Yeah. And although that's decent for me, it's just the fact that the Aquila gives him a bit more damage. He had a 3 or 4 or 5 or so damage advantage at that point in the lane, and that kind of sucked. And he also had his Q that does a bunch of damage, and I was just kind of all right, I'm starting to lose here, but I would never die. The thing I like about co-op against Viper is it's impossible to die. Unless you get ganked, in which case it's still pretty much impossible to die unless it's an Earth Spirit and a Dragon Knight who has 2 points in stun at level 4. Little throwback humor there. Yeah, so it's not a great lane, but anyone who doesn't lose lane flat out to Viper, I think is pretty happy. A bit less so than before, because Viper actually does things now. But it wasn't that bad. But I mean, going later into the game, it was kind of obnoxious because we just couldn't kill him. Which was shitty because we killed him once, but that was before he had 4 points in corrosive and had a fucking hood. But the laning phase was fine for me.
Yeah, I think the issue with our team comp specifically, I think the issue with Quap plus Skywrath as a duo of heroes in a 5-man team comp was that I could not gank your lane ever. And also, of course, we didn't have another hero with a stun. Our other support was a treant protector. And so, and they were just feeding in the off.
They were just the only stun on our team was our off lane Monkey King. That's not a good place to be at.
Yeah. So once your lane was not great and you were getting denied heavily, it wasn't we could step in and fix the problem. Yeah. Because he has corrosive skin by then. I deal no damage. I can annoy him, but that's a move that's effective against a Shadow Fiend or a Quap or whoever, but it's not a move that's effective on a Viper. Because he's just going to out-regen you. He's going to take little damage because of his corrosive and all that. So that was a real unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
Viper, their 2 cores basically were the perfect cores for the situation, I would say.
I would kind of agree. Also, the state of our Treant Protector that Treant didn't really change up the dynamics of the game at all. All he did was freeze them. So there was that point in the game where Viper has a decent damage advantage on me, or at the very least, I can't contest him in lane because, we both got boots and my attack animation takes long enough that he can step forward and get a Q off on me before, I finish getting my last hit and get back to safety. So I'm kind of just getting harassed out of lane by Viper, but we still have our mid tier 1 up.
but I want to just like go somewhere else and farm or kill people, but I'm still trying to defend my tier 1. And treeing is, so it was just kind of like there was a large period of inactivity for me. And as soon as I kind of noticed that about like at 8 minutes, I was like, I'm just going to rotate and just kill bottom repeatedly. So like we picked it off their supports a couple times at bottom, and that was good. We just couldn't, get the final blow in on an anti-mage. Yeah. Like at 10 minutes, I was basically even with Viper. I had started rotating around like 8 or so when I was about 200 gold above him. And then by 10 minutes, he kind of overtook me a little bit. And then as, like I would kill a support, go back to the mid lane. And just as it goes on, like he's like over 1,000 gold ahead of me at some point. We have a team fight where I bring it back. But yeah, like he's got like 6,900 gold here and I've got 5,900. It's just like, it was just fucking brutal. He got so many denies. It was insane.
Yeah, so our safe lane actually went quite well. It should have, because just the nature of the matchup. So they had an off lane of Baden, which, is a good hero against Skywrath in the grand scheme of the game, but is not particularly good against Skywrath in the laning phase. We didn't kill him that many times. We killed him like 3 or 4 times eventually, but a lot of the times we were just like sending him back to base or forcing him to leave and regen. So he had a really hard lane initially. We would just bully him super hard and then force him to use a shield and then pop his shield because the early shield is like nothing, and then just kill him or at least get him to run away. Yeah. The Weaver
he was like poorer than the Rubik at 10 minutes.
Yeah. He had an absolutely miserable time. Because it was the kind of situation, right? Like I was talking about earlier, where Skywrath, even if I'm not killing this hero, I am making it so he cannot like play the lane. Yeah. So even though he eventually had 10 deaths at the end of the game, but in lane, it wasn't like one of those situations where he's just uncontrollably feeding and has to jungle. So the Weaver got a ton. Weaver had 11-minute Aki, boots, wand, and diffusal. Like he had a really good time. But the problem for us was that Weaver was effective, but Weaver was not a counter to their heroes. And so he got a ton of farm, but their carry, who was super effective against all our heroes, Weaver not so much, but he's not bad against Weaver. He got a ton of farm too. So this is just like their core counters our team and gets a lot of farm, and our core gets a lot of farm, but is not really a counter to their team.
Yeah, our heroes mostly rely on bursting people, right? Like Queen of Pain has her spell combo that bursts people, and you have your spell combo that bursts people, and literally none of their cores were able to be bursted because Anti-Mage had infinite magic resist, so yours didn't do anything. Viper also had a hood and infinite magic resist, so yours also didn't do anything. And then Abaddon would go back to full health after we used a bunch of damage on him, so neither of us did anything. Yeah. So it was just like we had to play a kind of war of attrition in team fights, like throw out our opening volley of shit and then just like keep retreating until Weaver slowly picked everyone down. But I was playing like shit because I just wasn't playing well this game. And that's, like a full admission. Like I was fucking dying often for no reason. Like I wasn't blinking in aggressively and dying. That happened like once or twice when I was like, someone was like, oh, we're going to win this fight. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go. And, that was a couple times. Most of them were just like, oh, I saw someone, and then I just like decided to fight them for no reason, and then people showed up and killed me, and I was like, oh, well, that's too bad. Yeah, I just fucking played bad, honestly. But yeah, like it was a game. It was a game. The right clicky Queen of Pain stuff was good. I managed to not die as much as I would have otherwise. I killed Viper a bunch in team fights just by I just right click on him from a good position and just wait. It was good. We killed Anti-Mage a couple times, and no small part because I was able to right click, and we have like Deso on Weaver also, which amplified it a good amount. It was like the play that we did was like fine outside of like I played like shit, but it's just like really hard to kill 3 people who can't be bursted when all your team does is burst people and also has no disable.
Yeah. It was definitely a bit of an outdraft, like just point blank. Like their team was good against ours, and our team was kind of like random heroes. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like if the Monkey King really did get totally badass and we won, and which basically did happen. It's just we had to like defend mid with 2 heroes, and we did, and then our Monkey King like walked out after he used his BKB, and then he died. And then me and Weaver both bought back. But if I had bought back before, that wouldn't have been a problem. It was just like, hey, we defended it. And then Monkey was like, what if I died though? What if I died? Would you still say it's defended? And we're like, no, that's not. It's not defended anymore. And that kind of lost us the game. It was looking like a really easy, well, not easy, but it was looking like we were gonna win before that. But yeah, there was like one odd team fight where I just saw Rubik and I was like, hey, kill that guy. And then I didn't. And then they killed me because they just like jumped on me. And our Weaver wasn't around, and the whole team fight went to shit. And then I died, and then everyone else also died, and we had 2 cores left. And then I didn't buy back. And then one of our cores decided to die, and then we all bought back and then died. Anyway, that's kind of how that's how the game ended. So like the game was fine, even though I played like shit. It was, I was still doing okay. But yeah.
We missed our window, and like we didn't hit. We had some windows where we were doing well, and then we were winning fights, or we were at least tying fights, but we had some like critical misplays. Like
we kind of lost momentum every time we got it. Like there was that huge team fight that we won, and then me and Weaver, like you got away with 8 health, and then me and Weaver were like, oh, let's just hit the racks here. Anti-Mage buys back, and Weaver's like, no, let's just hit it a little bit. And I'm just like not even looking at who's alive. Like there's a Nyx that is alive, and I'm just sitting on low ground punching a tower, and I just like get stunned. Then Anti-Mage jumps on me, pops my Lincolns, and then abyssals me. I'm like, there's literally no reason that I should have been hitting that tower. Like, why the fuck was I just waiting to get stunned by a Nyx that I wasn't even paying attention to whether or not they were alive? And that's why I played like shit this game. But
that's a me play.
If it wasn't shit like that would happen this game, I'm sure we would have won. I'm just like not in the zone today. Hence my 2 losses, 3 now, I guess.
Such is life. It was a good game though. Like all things considered, it was a nice competitive game. Which. Considering my recent experiences with Dota in the last 4 days or so, I'm just happy to have a competitive game.
Sure.
I've had a lot of games that are not competitive. And like, I had a good time on Skywrath, but for the similar reasons that we already described, it was just a game where I could not burst people. Like, not only... Like, so...
And Nyx also, like, there's just nothing to do against these heroes.
Yeah, and he had Aghanim Scepter, and like they had a Glimmer Cape on Rubik, and he had a Yule Scepter.
Yeah, there was just no way to kill anyone this game. It just sucked. We had no control, so they always got their items off. Like, we had our control for Anti-Mage was my silence, your silence, Tree Root, and Monkey King's 1.8 second stun, or whatever it is now. And those are all things that can be manted off, except for a like fucking 1.5 second stun. It's gonna keep getting lower the more I talk about it.
Yeah, I was looking at it at the end of the game, and
1.6, literally 1.6 second stun. That's the only stun we had. Fuck.
Yeah. So Anti-Mage did a build that I love. He built AC as his 4th main item.
Well, of course. It's no damage.
It's exactly. He went AC, which both is a good offensive item, good for pushing, but also good defensively because he kind of shores up all his, not that he has a weakness against physical damage, but he now takes no physical damage and no magical damage. So when I looked, he had something like 50. He did not take the magic damage talent at 25 because he built a BKB.
Magic resistance talent.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said magic damage talent.
Oh, sorry. Magic resistance talent at 25. But he didn't need to because he built a BKB and he had like 50% magic resistance and also an AC with like a bunch of armor.
Yeah, so, this is a boy who is like fucking very certain that they are not going to lose a Dota 2 game. Like they're like, there's no chance I lose this fucking game if I build a BKB and an AC on Anti-Mage. I cannot throw. And they were right.
He was a man on a mission, that's for sure. That's a disciplined Dota player. If I was in that position, I would not have built a BKB in a million years.
Yeah, like a butterfly and a Scotty or something.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. There's no way you catch me building BKB in a game where I have an Abaddon on my team and a guy with a Glimmer Cape. If I die, it's the Abaddon's fault. Like, there's no way I'm building BKB in this freaking game.
They may have built Butterfly, but the Weaver like pre-built a Monkey King bar just because it's a decent Weaver item. But yeah.
You know, such is life. It was a fun game. So you could watch the VOD on youtube.com/4thspirit. You could catch us on Twitter. Our Twitter is 4th Spirit. Our Discord, where you can find the community. You can find all our questions, or if you want to send us questions, you can, find people to play with, etc. That is discord.gg/4th. It's always spelled out FOURTH. Like I said earlier, our Pugna code, if you want the free 30-day pro trial, is 4th as well. Our website is fourthspirit.com. You can find us on all your podcast apps and whatnot. If you'd like to support us, you can tell a friend, tell multiple friends even. That's always the best way to do so. You can give us iTunes reviews. Those we very much appreciate. We were just reading a few in our meeting over the weekend, and we were very happy with them. You can also support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/fourthspirit. God, I feel like I need to like get all these old Defense of the Patience things that I accidentally plug and just make them redirect to us, because some of them don't. And I just like my mouth is trained to say /Defense of the Patience, but such is life. I'll work over it, or I'll work on it, or work around it, something like that. We passed our 550 goal for the Dark Souls series. So if you are a patron of any level, $1 or $1,000, you will be getting the Dark Souls content. I believe Proud and I are recording that this weekend. So provided everything goes off as planned, you'll have it by the end of December. So a nice holiday gift for everybody. And this is actually our last podcast before the holiday Monday, before the holidays.
Man, don't remind me. I still got to do shit.
I got all my gifts ready this year. Last year I was lazy with gifts. I didn't buy like anything. But this year I got great gifts for everybody. I got my dad an automaton, and he's gonna annoy an automaton. You know those the instruments, the Japanese. Yeah, and God, my dad's gonna annoy my family so much with that. But it's a great gift.
Yeah,
and then I got other good gifts. But we'll see. I'm excited for Christmas this year. So yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
How much was the automaton?
It's only like $35 for the smaller one. It wasn't expensive.
That's a little expensive.
There's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's like, I think this one's like 15 inches, like, decent. I think they make really tiny ones also, but they make like the like official quote unquote deluxe version. I think it's like $80. And I think you can get like off-brand ones also. I'm not sure, but I'm excited because they're pretty cool, but I would not use it. So I was like, I'm just going to get this for my dad because he's an instrument kind of guy, a musical kind of guy. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, holidays are fun. We will still be putting out shows on all the holidays. Don't worry, we're not going to have any hiccups on the podcast schedule. You will still have shows on Tuesday and Thursday next week, and also the next Tuesday, even though it is New Year's and all that. Boxing Day, which apparently is a holiday that people celebrate, not in America. Don't worry about it. If you want to listen to us, we will have new episodes out. So no breaks whatsoever, because we live to make content and not celebrate anything. So, on that note, I don't want to plug anything else. Actually, that's a lie. I want to plug Twitter. I'm at Ursinity on Twitter. Proud is at ProDota. Our show's at Fourth Spirit on Twitter. That's it. All right. Goodbye, everybody. You can enjoy our content whenever you want to. I don't remember the ending for this show.
Later.
Goodbye.
Fucking shitheads.
Don't be
fucking
mean
putrid piss swill.
They're great.
Caveats.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
That's a different word.
That's definitely not it's not a word to call people.
It's not an insult. I just wanted to craven husks of poop.
And you said it wrong. Anyway, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, I was going to cave dwellers, but I went with caveats.